Hey everyone, this is Rachel and welcome to another scrapbooking process video. If you hang out until after the video is through, there are always detailed shots of my current layout. Let's get going! Hey everyone, I am back with another pre-taped introduction for a layout I made at the crop I went to back at the end of March. This particular layout is made with my Secret Not Secret kit that I purchased right before I went to my crop. It is filled with lovely, lovely stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so right off I know I'm going to use this very pretty paper, which is from Recollections, so obviously you can just get it at Michael's. It has little tiny rose gold hearts all over it. Now I'm starting off with 3 photos. I am going to reduce it to 2 because those 2 photos with people in them are pretty much the same photo except one has my nephew and one just has me. I'm in both photos. And the other photo I'm going to mat on this ombre rose colored pattern paper, and that is a 6x6 square, and that comes from the Paige Evans Pink Paisley Pick Me Up collection. I'm also going to mat this using the iridescent tissue paper that my kit came wrapped in. This isn't something I do all that often, but I thought it worked well with the shininess of the background page and the shimmering of the rose gold. I thought it worked well together. So I'm not really going to use any more patterned paper on this particular layout. I don't believe. Oh, I am going to use it for my journaling, but that will come much later. Now, I went through the ephemera pack and pulled out some things that I thought might work. I will end up actually going back into my ephemera pack and adding more. And you see, I decided I only was going to use 2 photos. Now, I've had some questions about the fact that I'm doing Disney layout with non-Disney items. When I started this layout, this is from a trip back in 2007. When I started this layout in 2007, there were no Disney lines at the time except the licensed stuff you could get in Joann's, and that was definitely never my style. I mean, I think they're very cute, and I know some people use them and they look gorgeous. It just wasn't for me. So I started just using regular paper. So since this is a well, basically it's a UFO, which is an unfinished project. So I didn't want to then go ahead to start using all of the Disney, non-licensed Disney stuff that is available now. Plus, I did an entire album for a 2012 trip that is made completely of Simple Stories Say Cheese. Okay, let's get back to this layout. I added that camera die cut along with the carefree die cut, and then I added the word amazing, and that was a puffy sticker. Now for my title, from the Chamel box of crayons, I grabbed the word yes, and then also from my kit, I believe everything on here on this layout is from my kit. From the Pink Fresh Studio, the Mix Volume 2, I grabbed the letters for Let's Shop, and I made an apostrophe out of the beginning of a number 1. So I've added a whole bunch of stuff because I'm behind because I was explaining about my Disney layout. So I'll just go. I have those file tabs on the top left-hand side of my photo. Below that, with the words amazing and carefree, I added some of the open weave stars along with those little puffy sticker diamonds, and those came from Pink Fresh Studio. And I mentioned everything else. Yes, so I have decided I'm going back through my ephemera pack, and I've decided what I'm going to do is add a whole bunch of florals to this. So there are several different styles of floral in that ephemera pack. Some have stems on them, some are just the flower, and some are flowers in containers, whether it's flowers in a vase or a succulent in a pot. I chose to pull out all the flowers and then all the stems that are separate, as opposed also in there are, as I said, were flowers that had the stems attached on one die cut. So I'm going to use all the die cuts and all of the puffy stickers that have just the flowers and just the stems. And I'm doing that in my 3 embellishment cluster areas. And I'm using a mix of my ATG and my liquid glue to glue them down, simply because it can be a little bit rough to try to get your ATG on the more delicate parts of the stems. So I just switch over to my liquid glue for that. So I'm just looking through the puffy sticker, looking through what's left on there, making sure it doesn't, I don't miss one, and then I just have one random flower that drives me crazy. I'm like, no, I have one flower left. So once I get that done, as you saw, I trimmed off the little pieces that were hanging off over the end, and I am going to, what am I going to do now? Let's see, I forgot. Oh, you know what? So this, as I mentioned before, is done in a crop. When I go to a crop, oftentimes I will pre-journal. So I'm just looking up what I have for journaling for this layout, seeing how much room I will need, and I decided to use this little frame from the Paige Evans Pink Paisley Pick Me Up. I believe it's paper number 3. Don't quote me on that though. I do chop that in half because I don't have a ton of journaling. All I'm talking about is that, yes, we went shopping at the World of Disney. World of Disney is a super awesome store in the downtown Disney area, which I think is now called Disney Springs, where you can find anything and everything Disney related that you could ever want to purchase. So I have one last thing to do, and that is I'm going to add these epoxy hearts. These also come from Pink Fresh Studio, Let Your Heart Decide. And that is it for me today. Thank you guys so much for joining me here. If you could flick me a thumbs up, that would be super awesome. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.